Hi, I'm Alexa. I'm a third-year architecture student, and my project Woven is a combination of architecture and the fiber arts. Serving as my spring 2023 studio project, it is intended to be a visitor center for the entrance of Central Park South, and it gets its name from the structure in which it was created out of ribbon. Each of the ribbons have their own program that weave together to create a unique space. I began the project by studying Central Park. Originally, it was a farmland, and the typography that we know and love today was built on top of that. Every aspect of Central Park, from the ponds to the rocks, was thoughtfully placed and designed. Inspired by the concept that is New York City, I wanted to create a space that reflects that. New York City is made up of so many different people, all connected by their shared location of the city. Initially, I wanted to place a large bow in the park. This bow would represent the string that is New York City that connects everyone within, serving as a reminder that no matter what, you'll always be a New Yorker. However, this concept was quickly shot down, as the concept felt weak, and the bow was too commonly seen as a symbol of hyper-feminine girlhood. So what is a bow? Is it two ends of ribbon tied together? What is a ribbon? Is it a series of threads woven together to create a sort of fabric? Even though I wasn't allowed to put a large bow in the middle of Central Park, I wanted to stick with my concept, so I zoomed in. I used the fabric, and I put the fabric of the bow peeking out of the city instead. To be my design, I began by placing ribbons on my site, and then carefully weaving them over one another to create a sort of loose fabric. I then dramatized this by raising the overlapping sections at different scales. Not only did this show the woven nature of the building, but it created an interesting elevation within. The elevation would soon come to look like the rocks placed throughout the park. Looking back at the concept of New York City being the invisible thing that holds all within it together, I instead thought of New York like a fabric. Although at first glance it may look like a complete unit, when looking closer you begin to see all the unique things that make it itself. What initially was a rebellion towards the denial of my large bow, woven soon became a metaphor for New York City itself. Each ribbon of woven holds its own program, and together they make the project what it is. Similar to New York City, each person holds their own story, and together they create New York City. Being that this was a studio project, Woven was not a passion project. It was intended to get me thinking and hopefully work on some of my architectural skills, such as Rhino and drawings. However, this project quickly became something that taught me about myself as an architect. I was given a brief on what I had to create, and outside of that, total creative freedom. With that, I knew I wanted to create a bow. However, since that bow didn't receive the love I expected from review, I had to revise. Instead of scrapping everything and coming up with something new, I held on to my desire to tie New York into the fiber arts. In the professional world, my first concept or design will rarely be the final one. I'll have to appease a client while also staying true to myself as a designer. I feel that although Woven may have just been a studio project, it has taught me to begin to understand the balance that is listening to clients as listening to myself. I've also learned that what results outside of this will usually create a project that is far better than what was originally planned.